love to tell us a bit about your background. How did you end up at Sensible?
hmm So yeah, I mean, my story in regards to ending up here is really not planned. Yes, the whole piece of what do we want to be when we grow up. It's not by any means that I grew up saying I want to be a VP of HR or people one day. It happened quite organically. I believe I kind of learned over my time of working in retail and as a server that I had this raw natural motivation to help people. And it was from when I was a little girl, and it just progressed into the opportunity of eventually ending up in a field that I got to do what I love every single day. So process of elimination, quite by chance, but certainly doing what I love now.
And from what I understand, you didn't start off in tech either. You started off at more traditional people like CIBC and Home Depot. So how did you make that transition
Yeah.
from banks and retailers to, I think it was Care Guide?
Yeah, so my story again is one of those that happened by chance, but I am taking life as it comes, and really, going from 15, 20,000 employees down to 1,600, then down to about 50, back up to around 70. It is such a different dynamic. So I emphasize it as a wow factor. I really do have to say that I went with huge down to small, but it's very different perks to both. And it's been a huge learning experience for me to start with corporate, where I could grow naturally through many different functions, to really making an impact to where I am today.
So one just quick question with that transition. I think lots of people try to leave corporate and go to startups.
Yeah.
How did you convince JPG and Care Guide to take that risk on you? I think it's a hard transition. What's the secret there?
Oh my goodness, that's such a funny question because I consider JPG still a very good friend. And I heard, very similar to my story into Sensible, I heard about some really cool problems people were trying to solve. And the one thing that was missing, in my opinion, at both organizations was the people's voice at that table. Somebody to say, wait, we're trying to grow, we're trying to move, but let's pause and think about, the most valuable asset we have, which is our people, and how we're going to, make sure that they have all the tools they need to help us get to where we want to be. So it took me a while, JPG, to woo him, I may say, and he was all in. And our story will be one to tell one day, because truly we made a huge impact, and it's a company that cares and gives back at Care Guide, and I get that opportunity to do it again now over at Sensible, which is nice.
So I love that story about how you made that transition. And I love that you talk about how people are so important.
Mhm.
And I think one of the tools that you've used is you've had mentors. So explain why mentorship's important and what it means to you.
Funny, preparing for this, I thought a lot about it, and my story is genuinely thanks to mentors, mentees, and a little bit of both. So just to give you a little sample, there's one individual who I tell you has just changed my life on a personal and a business level. And I was in my early 20s starting to really think about what I wanted to do next at CIBC. And I met her, and her name is Jane. And, she basically turned me down for my first application for a job and said, you need to go back and learn and get a little more experience. I went back 8 months later when that job opened up again, ticked off every box. She gave me that opportunity, and I won't say how many years later, Alex, because that would give away too much. But
We'll just go with 6 months. Let's not
yeah.
go, I don't know why you're talking about years. I can't believe that. And that was only like 2 years ago anyways, right?
We're new best friends. She still is not only just a mentor who has helped me grow. She calls me out when I need to be called out. I'm very vulnerable with her. I ask her questions on, what I can do better. And she has shaped me truly. I could get emotional even just talking about her, on every piece of who I am today. So, and I followed her over to Home Depot. I just wanted to, see what more I could learn from her. And she continues to this day to be that person I reach out to.
I love that. So your mentor is someone that can basically help you, guide you through your career, be honest with you, give you the right feedback you need to hear. It sounds like you got lucky meeting Jane. She was at CIBC with you. You went to Home Depot with her.
Yeah.
How do you go about finding one, especially if you're somewhere like at Sensible or Care Guide? Great companies, but you like you said, there's 70 people. So what advice do you have for someone that wants to find that mentor?
You have to be vulnerable, and a lot of people are scared to do that. So I I have a few key points. One, don't just look for somebody who has many more years experience than you, because I have another mentor who actually has 20 years less experience than I do. And, we were a mentor-mentee relationship that I thought was just phenomenal. She's coming in fresh, and she was at Care Guide, and I learned a ton from her. So I, again, played the vulnerable card of not scared to ask. So that's number one. And number two, don't look for someone who's identical to you. Look for somebody who you really, maybe you have core strengths and there's some key competencies you want to learn about. So look for those ones, because that's really important. And lastly, probably the most important, is let them know that you're open to any feedback they have, because you want to be better, and be really respectful to their time, and give back where you can and when you can. That's very important, is not just to reach out for help, but to also reach your hand back and help somebody else.
I love those bullet points because it basically takes the whole relationship. And the key thing I take away is you have to be vulnerable. And I think I agree with you. Most people, especially in tech, they're scared to show they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
I have one last question before I want to open up to the insider question. How do you best use that time with a mentor? So you've talked about how to basically have a relationship, but when you're with that mentor, how do you know what to get the most out of that relationship?
Yeah, so I always prep. I know time is so valuable, and I actually am a mentor for some individuals as well. So I like to come in prepared. I also like to make sure I kind of send a few notes in advance to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can we talk about this key point? Maybe I take them out for dinner sometimes. Maybe buy them some Le Gourmand cookies, something. But really, ultimately, is letting them know about your successes, so they know that the help you've provided them has made a huge impact to your life, and that's what keeps the mentors going.
I love that you talk about how it's a two-way relationship and how it's being mindful of their time and really showing appreciation. And Jennifer, if you ever want to send gourmand cookies to anyone else, I love it. My 11-year-old daughter is absolutely loving. That's what she asked for a birthday cake. She wanted gourmand cookies.
Oh,
So
taste.
love that taste. That's a great gift for anyone. So maybe we should get gourmand to send cookies to everyone in the future. Right now, I'd love to invite a TechTO insider, Faisal, to come up and ask Jennifer a question.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts this evening. Great to hear from you and learn a bit about your background and sort of how you've approached mentorship in your career. I am the founder of a digital health company. I actually just moved to Toronto quite recently. I was working on servicing people with diabetes, sort of in that space, connecting them with their healthcare providers, helping them manage their data in a better and more organized manner. So yeah, just coming to the theme for this evening, as in any relationship, sometimes I guess the mentor-mentee relationship can also see some bumps. So my question was, you respect someone, you make yourself vulnerable in front of them, you reach out to them for advice, and you respect the experience and all of the value they bring with those years of experience. But suppose you disagree with them on some issue, your insights or your gut feeling goes against the advice they're giving to you on the matter. You don't want them to feel sort of sidelined or feel that they have wasted their time and energy that they invested with you. How would you navigate this? What would you suggest in terms of handling these disagreements as a potential mentor to someone? What would you want to see happen in a situation where the mentor and mentee don't really see eye to eye on critical issue? Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. And your business is near and dear to my heart, so I wish you luck. I like what you're doing. That matters. A few key points. Again, there's that vulnerability piece, and you need to feel really okay with being very honest with your mentor and giving them feedback in regards to maybe what advice they gave you that doesn't work. And, really, I think that's what builds your relationship, is saying that, hey, I've tried this before, it doesn't work. I also know that if we don't open up, we can hold on to these things that will end up kind of breaking that relationship later. So I think the honesty foundation between you and a mentor-mentee, is probably the most integral piece for it working. So I encourage honesty, and a true mentor would love the feedback because they want to help you, and that's why they're there.
Jennifer, thanks so much for sharing us your career path and about talking about mentorship. I love the transparency, the honest talk, and I hope everyone is inspired to go find mentors to help them with their career.